themselves to give us their response. Yes, it's a white cap chief.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that in the structure of NAN, issues having to do with health, gender, and population, the box stops on my table. So what Dr. Ejike said, that I have a limit, and the final bus stop. So any one of us here can approach non-reporters and correspondents anywhere if you are a stakeholder and report to me if it does not cooperate. I give you that license. Now, I said I have a 12-point agenda as a media engagement strategy that we can take home. And I beg the anchorman to please permit me to just roll them out quickly.
Without explanation.
Yes, without explanation.
Approved.
One, as media practitioners, we must get acquainted with existing laws that we are talking about UCH. Two, I want to say that the knowledge of the operations in the health sector, we must get to be conversant with them. For instance, not many of my colleagues are aware that the health sector is subdivided or segregated. For instance, when we are talking about primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare providers, not many of my colleagues know the difference. So we must get it right. Now, thirdly, I said as media practitioners, we must begin to map out stakeholders in the health sector. By this, I mean we must identify who are the stakeholders that are driving the system. Number four, as journalists, we must take advantage of the Freedom of Information Act to begin to interrogate the health system, health policies, and programs. Number five, I am suggesting that we should be canvassing for more funding for the health sector and begin to interrogate the deployment of those resources that might be released for the delivery of healthcare services. In the process of doing that, number six, we must deliberately begin to raise public awareness and create demand for accessible, improved, and qualitative healthcare services. Number seven, I said stakeholders, and as media practitioners, we must begin to monitor and report the state of facilities, infrastructure, the attitude of medical and healthcare workers towards patients, the availability, quality, and cost of drugs and services. We must take it with passion because we are all involved. I also suggest that we should also constantly engage health research institutes to boost local production of drugs, institutes like the Institute of Nigeria Institute of Pharmaceutical Research Development, the Institute of Human Virology in Nigeria, and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, and foreign-based research institutes that have to do with drugs and vaccines. We must begin to take interest in their activities. Promote, point out the lapses, observations, or cries of the public where necessary. I also said civil society organizations should collaborate and empower, which I said before, support the media with data, with the necessary skills, with the information. Open up, as Dr. Ejike said, embrace the journalists. For policy implementers, my colleague and Dr. Ejike have talked about it in the process of monitoring and evaluation. should leverage on that to discharge its own social responsibility. Go to the field and report what you have seen without sentiments. Now, I'm also looking at the issue of PPP, public-private partnership, to scale up our healthcare delivery system in the country. Lastly, as advocates, I think we need to create a platform that the journalists can begin to use, not only as journalists, not only on the platform of the Nigerian Union of Journalists or the Nigerian Guild of Editors or all the other associated related bodies that journalists are using, but we need a different platform, which I suggest we can decide to float one by the end of this session: Journalists Against Cancer.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Mr. Suleiman Tola. Mr. Dapo, just one word from you in response, sir.
Suppose I just say thank you. Okay. I just want to make sure that I don't even use the 1 minute. When Amaka says that the health is not within the justiciable corridor in our constitution, she's of course right. But as an aspiration, we cannot stay at that point. Health is human right. That means we then have to fight for it. It doesn't mean that it's substantive, it's meaningful yet in Nigeria, but it's an aspiration that we have to fight for. That's what we do about everything that is right. And I really share the Tony's point about mental health. Yes, actually, my colleagues are in another hotel. We're doing some training for journalists on psychosocial health. So of which is a major problem even in the profession itself. So I totally agree with you, and except you help people understand that that will be. And we came to this by just noticing what people do when they are covering Boko Haram situation. You really need to see a journalist who is covering Boko Haram, and you will know what we're talking about. I'm not talking about people who are covering it from Maiduguri. People who are really covering it. So that's very thing. But the point which I think is very important and probably the most substantive to me is the point that Dr. Oji made, and which I think also Professor Dan Iam made, is the fact that the journalists can really create a lot of good in society. But it's like the educator in every instance. The educator himself has to be educated. I agree up front that a lot of what we're trying to write about in Nigerian journalism today, we are not at the point of literacy, let alone of knowledge. So it's a collaborative effort. If you own the media in the society, then you really have to push. Why is this the case? It's because there's a structural crisis in the media in this country today. That crisis is defined by a failure of ethics on the one hand and a failure of revenue to even manage the media. It's a long story, so it's not for here. But if you don't solve the the revenue problem in Nigerian media, it cannot then address the ethical problem, which is sad enough. But this is not the point to address that. But I agree that through partnerships, capacity development initiatives, and so on and so forth, this will go a whole long way in trying to solve the problem, especially in an area technical and so important as health. We must create conditions for education that will help the journalists to improve.
Please, an applause. Let's have Ms. Semba just a word, please.
Thanks very much. And I just wanted to maybe speak to the issue around working with journalists from the onset. And I'd like to say that several accountability-related organizations like ours are trying to do just that. We have an initiative called Budeshi. Budeshi means open it in Hausa. And we have a website, budeshi.ng, where you can see contracting processes in the health, education. We have several contracting processes over there. And so you can trace it from conception till it's award and then to public service delivery. And we use these to go to communities to check what's going on. And there are a few journalists from here who have gone with us for some of these engagements. And we hope that it kind of like gives you an idea. We come from one angle. You probably, have a better picture of storytelling and putting this within the media space. And we're willing to
so very much. Dr. Sofo, please.
Okay, so in response to the Honorable Commissioner, that survey was done by the Center for Health, Economics and Development, CHECOD. It was a willingness to pay survey. But I'm also not surprised that the labor that you engaged with for health insurance were a bit skeptical, because there's an issue of trust. Niger State mentioned here in the morning that the past administration had withdrawn people's money from their salaries for health insurance, which never, took place. So labor is a bit skeptical. They want to protect their own constituency before they agree to things like that. In terms of the training of journalists, we do that. We have a project for universal health coverage that is supported by Christian Aid Nigeria, and we train journalists to help us to write about, such issues around universal health coverage. And we're talking about putting the stories. For us, we write about just health. So, if you want to find out issues about health, we do that, and we do it very well. For mental health, as Nigeria Health Watch, we're very passionate about it. I think our blog piece last week was on mental health, and it's something that we do and we do regularly. Lastly, we did a survey with NOI polls on emigration of Nigerian doctors. 9 out of 10 Nigerian doctors we interviewed want to leave the country.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for our panel. And I invite the panel to please stand for group photograph and continue to clap for them. We have had a very productive section. It was very insightful and very, very rewarding too. So thank you so very much for sharing your knowledge, and we encourage you to continue to do the good work. And partnership is key, and we must keep being in play. Right now, we will now go to the final section where we are going to discuss the issue about health sector financing, experiences, challenges, and the way forward. And we expect the Honorable Minister of Health, who will join us for right now being represented, and he will join us for the closing ceremony. Let me quickly invite, are we having a good time? Are we learning something? Are we being motivated? Are we ready to do more? So together we win. All right. Join me as we make welcome Professor Isaac Adewale, the Honorable Minister for Health, who is here represented. The representative, is he here? Please come to, thank God he's a young man. Clap for him. We are making progress. Where is my orderly? This bag is not for nothing. Come and hold it. Please appreciate the representative of the Honorable Minister. I'll get his full details and then recognize him in his own right properly. Let me also welcome to the panel the Honorable Minister of Finance, or the representative, Mrs. Adekemi Adeosun. The representative, if you're here, kindly come to the platform. Let me also welcome distinguished Senator Udo Udoma, or the representative, the Honorable Minister for Budget and National Planning. If you're here, please kindly come up. Let me also welcome Dr. Habiba Lawan, the Acting Secretary to the Federal Government, or the representative. If you're here, please kindly come. Let me also welcome Dr. Daniel Enya, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Nasarawa State. He's my friend. Please clap for him. His Excellency is just an honorable, so I appreciate him as he's coming. All right. Let me also welcome Mohammed Jami Zakari, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, Nasarawa State. Please put your hands together for him. I know he's around. Where is he, please? He's coming, right? All right. Let's also welcome the Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Nasarawa State. Is there? Is he Prof? Okay, put your hands together for the Honorable Commissioner. All right, please appreciate the representative of the Honorable Commissioner of Budget and Planning, Nasarawa State, Mr. Abdul. A few seconds. Thank you. I'm also excited to welcome to the platform the Honorable